Let's say for all those people who have just joined and are asking, what is this nonsense you're talking about? And I want to answer this question myself because a lot of interesting things have happened in the world over the past few weeks.
Aliens are real, but they're not, and they're not being kept at Area 51.
A flying object landed more precisely in a huge field. All those with military duty were lined up at a certain distance with the wreckage of the flying object, yes, with the wreckage nearby.
Tell me, what of yours is left, man? You overheated. Tomorrow it's inside.
Oops.
The camera stops twice when we start talking.
You know, when someone tells the truth, you get goosebumps, those little chills that run down your spine. The first information you receive comes from a direct contact, from the raw, from the real thing.
Without a filter?
Without a filter, you just take it like this. You gather the sparks, you catch, for example, a little light here or the sun. You catch the sun, you see it, you bring it inside and imagine it, and this little light pierces you here and cleanses you. They clear your code. It's like they're doing this to you. They cut you into little pieces, click, 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 and then they put you back together, click, 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 click. In New Purity, they do it like a barcode. Yes, that's what the aliens do. When they chip you or when they transmit the necessary information to you, which can serve for the benefit of the development of civilization.
I know you have more important work to do. I know you're tired. I know you're sick of being told what to do, what's right, what's the truth, what reality is. Finally, after 3 years, my first book, Touching Reality, is available. Actually, right now I'm announcing the pre-sale, which will run for 2 weeks, this Sunday and the next 2 weeks. The first link is down in the description. It took me 3 years to make this book a reality, even though everything happens here and now. From ancient Hermetic principles, my personal experiences, mentors, and what life has brought me over the past 10 years, all gathered in one place. It's not a manual, so don't expect that. It's simply a shared experience, an invitation once again to connect with ourselves. Reality is very flexible, it's very different for everyone, and so is the truth. As the ancient Hermeticists say, every truth is a half-truth. Don't expect ready-made answers. Give yourself a chance to explore and to look for what is meant for you in it. I'm very happy that this moment happened, and I'm endlessly grateful to everyone who has followed me from the very beginning or who is joining even today. Thank you for your support, everyone. You are very kind, and if it weren't for you, it wouldn't have been possible. You can order it right now with a 15% discount while the pre-sale is ongoing. I personally commit to signing every single copy with a message, and of course, you will be the first to receive the book with priority when it is officially released. Baus, thank you. This is for you. In a world overwhelmed by so many addictions, it seems like we forget to look around and notice the miracles around us. Today's guest, one of these reminders, I am Stoyan Volkov, and welcome to Reality Explorers. Thank you for being here because today is a very special day. Today our wonderful guest Olga Lloyd is with us again. What did we do together last time?
We did what two shining souls do when they start to shine together in purity. Then the light becomes strong, radiates very high plasma energy, and that's when other fireflies are attracted. Huge, beautiful fireflies that have gathered around a beautiful fire.
I want to thank you, Olga. Today we have a lot of interesting things to talk about. First, I want to thank you for agreeing, to thank you for being so sincere, so genuine, and for reaching the souls of so many people. Today, our saga continues with many more interesting things. I promised the people that next time you visit me, we would take time to answer their questions. We will do that a little later in this show, but before anything else, you have brought a few things here. There are actually a lot of things we've gathered to talk about. About the news regarding aliens and what's happening in the world, also some very exciting topics
Are the most up-to-date.
at the moment. But before that, I want to ask you how you are, what has happened since we released the episode. Just a side note before I give you the floor. 200,000 views for an episode of a spiritual podcast in Bulgaria. That's amazing.
That's wonderful. That means that my theory that Bulgaria is a special country with special people, with shining souls, we confirm it because we didn't speak with you in Bulgarian and we gathered people from all over the world. We already have friends. I personally, thanks to your show, already have friends in New Zealand, in Canada, in Australia, in Austria. So many in Chicago, I don't know, from every corner of the world, and Spain to tell us how many, Portugal too. That's it. I'm just naming countries that come to mind. How many more are there? People from every corner of Bulgaria, from every little village or town, maybe not little, maybe big. I don't want to offend anyone. Everyone has asked questions. Everyone has come. Whoever has felt my light and yours, let's learn together. The courses at the Academy are going very well. We're making progress. And many, many have signed up for the code. An investigation for which I thank you. Thank you.
Didn't expect something like this either.
I went to a boy who was filming, a YouTuber, that's what we call him, to a YouTuber, that's right. I hadn't even done my hair or makeup then. Who's watching him? He's from Plovdiv, the boy, right, absolutely. And then? It turned out the whole world was watching. It turned out that the fireflies, as I call the bright souls, are everywhere, scattered and watching. And you, as I told you about reincarnation, yours, this portal through which you allow a certain soul to enter, is your portal. And that's exactly what happened with us, with you and me.
Why do you think this happened? What did we do globally, energetically? Why was it exactly at that moment? Was it a combination of coincidences on that day? Or was it our specific energy at that particular moment? Or was it that people were just tuned in and needed such a big push?
You know, I would rather say that right now the earth is vibrating at a new pure frequency. The earth is tilting, and more people are feeling a very strong difference. They are searching and say, I have dreams, very special ones. Or, for example, I see little spirits coming, or extraterrestrials are arriving. I see them. What should I do? Where can I get this information? Where can I receive the lessons? They also meet their soulmates, just like it happened with us. I absolutely believe in what I say. I teach what I know and what I have been trained in, and I see results, which my students give me as feedback. As I see with your people too, those who watch your show, they need a space where we can calmly say, yes, I know and I am familiar with extraterrestrials. Yes, I can get practice on how to communicate, or I can be at peace. Because it's not just me who has such gifts, other people have these gifts too, and we can use them together. For example, for the good of Bulgaria, or for the good of your own family, or even for the whole planet. Why not?
Where should we start when someone is still very far from these topics but wants to connect, wants this to be closer to them? What would you say is the most practical thing a person can do to seek this connection? Someone who hasn't been familiar with it until now. I'm saying this because, in my opinion, there were a lot of people in our episode who came and hadn't watched anything before. People who haven't followed this kind of thing until now suddenly receive so much information inside, but they stay because they like the energy. What would you say to them? How do we start looking for this connection? We're starting again with the long questions. Nothing new.
I've already gotten used to your questions, and I managed to catch the spiral of your consciousness. Look how interesting this is. When a person hasn't worked or practiced the different kinds of gifts they carry within themselves, they look for a spiritual teacher. You can't do it without a spiritual teacher. You can't travel, for example, 100 years into the future and not have someone by your side who can bring you back, or you can't travel to another planet. You can, but you need someone to anchor you. I sincerely advise you, if you do such practices, always have either a friend who helps you come back or a little anchor that stays on the table, something you can touch. It should be something sharp, cold, or a little spinner, something that can bring you back to earth. Because it's so nice and beautiful there that sometimes I don't even want to come back. And that's why I need to know that I have an anchor next to me or a cat that will bring me back. Another thing is that each one of you who watches the show, 200,000 people, that's not a small number. You all carry light within you and you are very strong. You have the opportunity, we have the opportunity together to change the world, but the gift you carry needs to be developed. And that means practice after practice, working on yourself again and again. It's exercise after exercise, for example, being able to see a person's aura and recognize the colors. That's it. Each one of you can do it, but you need to be trained in this.
How does this happen? Very briefly, yes?
It's 3 months of practicing certain exercises which start, for example, with fire. You light a candle. That's exactly what we teach in our courses. You light a candle, place it in front of a sheet of paper, and start from the beginning, like in first grade. What does the candle look like? How does it burn? What reflections does it create? First, you work with the candle every day, little by little, and then you increase the variety of candle colors, not just white, but also black, wooden, gold, green, blue. You learn to see on the sheet from behind in a dark room with meditative music. What do you see as shadows, those light shadows? Of course, you have a teacher who helps you recognize what you see. After that, you move on from flower to flower, from animal to animal, from tree to tree. Now you can see calmly. For a person, sometimes 2-3 exercises are enough. You already start working with this thing. Sometimes you need a little more effort. Every soul is different, but each one of you can do it. We have such a physical body that reacts to everything that happens on both an earthly and extraterrestrial level. You know that when someone speaks the truth, you get goosebumps, those little chills that run over you. The first information you receive comes from direct contact, from the raw, from the real, without a filter, yes. Next, when someone sings opera or someone sings in general. We have special voices here, you can hear these voices. Healing, when chills run straight down your back, that's the same thing. When you feel a change in temperature in your physical body, pain somewhere, tingling somewhere, know that this is a reaction to extraterrestrial or interdimensional vibrations that you are receiving, and respond to them. These are minimal practices that I'm telling you everyone should master. You have to learn, you have to train this just like you train your muscles. That's how you should train your spiritual body, and gradually you become a trained person. Because this is a skill, the more you have, the better.
You've been involved with coding and this whole world for 17 years now, if not even longer. You've brought us something very interesting here. Can you tell us what it is, in a few words? A very special specimen.
Look now, let's start like this. Let me give you goosebumps now, because I'm entering a dimension of the dead. We're entering astralava. Right now we're going to people who are stars in the sky, not among us. Staminov. This is a special book which is Exopolitics, in which all types of extraterrestrials are described, all types of constitutions or rules of the game, or very important, Government Games with the Extraterrestrials. This is a Bulgarian book published in Bulgarian by our Staminov. Do you know what year it was published? When did Mr. Staminov start talking about and publicly releasing this in 2012? It's already been 14 years. For me, this is an incredible message for today. He personally gave me this book as a gift when we started working together. Everything is secret, all the projects. They are known by those people, ufologists, who have control and move around the earth and possess this information. They know everything. And again, such an incredible book starts from Bulgaria. But the first one who started working with the United Nations was Kubrat Tomov. He went and said that no matter what kind of extraterrestrials, no matter what kind of galaxies, all of us, entities, let's call them that, conscious entities, need to be supported by certain laws, which are the rules of the game. In the whole world, when a soul comes to a planet, in the whole galaxy, when a soul comes to a planet, it signs a collective agreement. Everyone, like Earthlings on planet Earth, must follow the collective agreement. When we talk about extraterrestrial civilizations, there really is a constitution and agreements that are made between them. Which planet do they own? Which galaxy do they dominate? Professor Staminov said he travels on a ship to another civilization, which is on the planet Lyra, the Lyra stars. He's already building another civilization, one that needs this book published in their language. Do you see? Because we already have it here, and now the ufologists are monitoring and moving things forward. What Professor Staminov needed to accomplish here on Earth, he has already done, and that's why he will now develop another civilization, and we must follow.
That's wonderful what you're saying, and it's very brave and very beautiful that we can now freely talk about all of this. But what about all those people who have joined him and say, what are these nonsense things you're talking about? And I want to answer this question myself because in the last few weeks, some very interesting things have happened in the world. Of course, a person can always choose what to focus on, but is it a coincidence that within just a few weeks, former President Barack Obama and current President Donald Trump spoke up and hinted about alien technology, extraterrestrial life, and everything that's happening? Barack Obama said they're real.
Are they aliens?
They're real, but they're not, and they're not at Area 51.
They're not where you think. I haven't seen them, they exist, but I haven't seen them. Donald Trump, I'm ordering the release of files related to unidentified flying objects and so on. Why do you think this is happening right now?
I'm going to distract your mind a little before I start answering. You know that in secret services, in secret laboratories, there are activities going on right now that we are not aware of. But in connection with the fact that I am part of a community that shares among itself, in the Russian psychics community, secret information blocks are shared among us, which we obtain in different ways. I want to tell you what is happening with the hydrogen molecule today, the hydrogen molecule and our oxygen that we breathe, the water molecule, H2O. So we have two hydrogens and one oxygen, which form a triangle like an atomic lattice, which used to be very stable on planet Earth. At the moment, they are conducting research. The hydrogen molecule is starting to change. Here and there, it appears as water, as hydrogen, and already as water. There won't be a formula, there won't be H2O, but there will be a formula H3O in the hydrogen molecule. A third atom appears, which creates a pyramidal axis of hydrogen, allowing water to be structured in a different way. You have heard from many people like Astradamos, fortune tellers, prophets, who say that water will flood the planet, the Earth. Vanga also says that the sea will reach human. I absolutely agree with that. The period, the time when this will happen, is still not exactly determined. What are scientists doing right now? They are studying what will change. It's possible that we will start publishing. Because we are water, 80% of our body is water, right? Blood, the main thing is that it's water in our body. When the order of hydrogen changes like that, everything will change. Plants will start to become luminescent. Maybe we will start like in Atlantis in ancient times to read each other's minds. And that's why more and more people feel they have gifts and abilities and don't know what to do with them. They wonder. Sometimes they feel sleepy for a long time. Sometimes they can't sleep whole nights. Awake, they listen to different YouTube channels. They listen to different masters who speak, teachers. Everything vibrates at a very interesting frequency, at a very high frequency, especially in Bulgaria. And we keep on wondering what's happening. It's the change coming from the universe, right? The Earth is changing its vibration, changing the frequency at which we perceive. In other words, we are no longer 2D, we are no longer 3D. The senses we have, the physical ones, are increasing. So why shouldn't those in power develop these senses too? Trump is not the first, nor is Obama the first to come out at a government level and say that there are aliens. Even in a previous podcast, we talked with you about how there is a special secretary who brings information to every minister of defense every morning about what has happened on the planet with the aliens. Secondly, the Minister of Canada came out and said, this is absolutely classified information, but I'm telling you, there are aliens, I know them. After that, do we know what happened in Japan? The wife of the Minister of Defense came out and said, there are aliens, and she told the whole story of what happened to the woman. She suddenly had a stroke, and the man suddenly fainted in front of everyone. Yes, there is a general parliamentary meeting online. You see, he became like he was drunk, and he collapsed, and they carried him out, and he had a stroke. That is, the time when we will get the full information about what happened has not come yet. Trump, according to the principle of the reptilian race, he carries messages from various Nibiru, Anunnaki, planets. They control at the moment, it's written both in the book and by ufologists that it's happening right now. The wars and the battle are being fought between the reptilian-like beings who control our planet. That's why the planet is developing in a very specific way. Material things, money, temptations, dark forces, sex, less knowledge. But look how quickly things are changing. Every video we make together, every hour-long conversation, what does it do? It sends out a wave of light. That's how it will happen in societies everywhere. And this light that comes from Bulgaria, which is very powerful, it will spread throughout the world, more and more. There will be fireflies around the world, as I say, shining people. And that's why Trump has nowhere to go, nowhere to run. Since Obama came out and said, yes, I know there is such a thing, by the way, Obama. When I studied him, he is an absolute chipped robot. He follows the code. There is no difference between left and right. An emotional cripple, that's the rude way to say it, but it's a step aside, an emotional invalid who messes everything up. He is in complete darkness, at least because the layers that control from the mountain, it's a whole planet. They are under the control of alien groups and must carry out their orders, otherwise they won't stay in power. Naturally, according to Nadal, the groups will be divided by state, mostly. But a very good person who is a ufologist and knows how the world works, knows who rules, where and how.
I don't know about them, but I came across some things about Biden. When he was in power, there were some very strange videos recorded, and they were made by random people. How he just stands there in a way that's not normal for a person, as if he's switching or just changing. Exactly. Yeah, I think I've seen the most videos of him, which, if you're hearing about these things for the first time, it's really very strange to see it. It just looks kind of illogical. What do we do beyond all these things when we're aware of this game? What should we do to keep shining our light? Because when we share this kind of information, there's a risk that people might shrink back even more. There's a risk they might say, they're controlling me, manipulating me, there's nothing I can do. And when I say there's nothing I can do, I actually strengthen the control even more.
Well, here comes the topic of free will, whether we have free will or not. And the one who is aware and conscious, who makes a choice, they have free will. But I am attached to the idea that there is no mistake. Yes, you mentioned it. We can't be free in our choices, free in our actions, because we control ourselves, as you said. But when you realize that your purity, the one your soul shines with, wants to do good and shine with goodness, then you believe, aware, following the steps of your soul's mission. It's good to know it, that mission after all. And then you can shine with that purity, which doesn't allow you to be controlled. Then you can be a radiant person and say, yes, I am fulfilling my mission. And when you look in the mirror, you'll say, I forgive myself for everything I haven't done as good today.
How often do you think we reflect, or is it good to reflect more often? To stand in front of the mirror, to look at yourself, to say, hey, thank you, you're doing great.
Yes, there is a very good practice. I have many girls and boys whom I call mirror fairies. And even here, I'll tell you now, we'll make a boom with you, a mirror practice. You sit in front of a mirror, play some music, quiet and calm, that soothes you. It could be the sound of rushing water, it could be the sea, or maybe just meditative music. And for 10 minutes, you don't take your eyes off, you just sit and look in the mirror. Sit with yourself. And if you see exactly what happened to you, you might start crying, then you get angry, then you laugh, then you notice all sorts of nonsense. Where, how, what? Then you see your nose looks like a potato, then you buzz like ice cream, as if your will can't fit in your head.
What is the purpose of this exercise?
You start watching yourself, and at some point, maybe at the 10th minute, the 12th minute, it's different for everyone. Suddenly you start to see your soul. Suddenly you begin to realize that you have achieved so much. At the very least, that you have come to this planet Earth, you were born in these tough conditions. You fall, you scrape your knees, you draw on them, on your hands, you say, oh my, what did you do? And you keep going, you keep going. This is the path of the soul on planet Earth. To have more and more lessons, to overcome, and to learn the lessons. This is the path, there is no other way. The mirror practice is as follows, and I only give it in courses. But especially for you, for your viewers, your listeners, my dear ones, now that you too, I want to say, you go to the Royal Palace in Sofia, it's on the yellow cobblestones, where it was, what's it called? There's an alley, the one that exploded, right there is the meeting. There is a Royal Palace, which is now a gallery. You buy a ticket, since you must enter the gallery, go upstairs and turn right. By the way, I always mix up right and left. This is right, right? Right, you go to the right, enter the last room, and before the last room, there's a small corridor, which, just like, because your studio is so big, with 2 side mirrors that are magical, it's a portal. Those mirrors have incredible power. Stand with your phone, record yourself, see how you can go into the future or the past. You have to, so you don't become 2 people, because you'll fly away and then we'll have to look for you. We won't answer, you'll see that they're lost people. Yes, stay still for a bit. Think you need to stay still for 1, 5, 7 minutes to feel the movement. The mirrors are very special. They were made using ancient technologies. Back when the palace was built, they come from special technological old practices. Now there are much more modern mirrors, a very different way of making mirrors. So go to this place, do this practice, and be very strong on this journey. In the future and in the past, this practice with mirrors will help you a lot.
I would add, regarding what was said about the mirrors, just myself. When I was 17 or 18 in my apartment in Sofia, I used to do this. I would turn off the lights, leaving just about 10% on, just something very dim, and I would look at myself in the mirrors. I'm just curious myself to see what will happen. If I look at myself in very dim darkness and I only see the outline, I trace it, and inside I sink into the image and go straight in. I had my eyes open and I entered the mirrors into a great darkness and into the cosmos, and in this way it was very nice. Are these mirrors related to Kozyrev's mirrors?
Kozyrev uses methods that we are talking about because he bends them in a certain way and makes a twist, which is interpreted as spiral-shaped. Yes, of course, a similar method. The mirrors, right? It's an incredible thing. At the very least, there's that story Alice in Wonderland, right? Where there are mirrors. But why are there even curved mirrors? We see ourselves distorted, to see other portals, to see ourselves in others. That's Svetlana, right? There are entire exhibitions in Venice about mirrors. Mirrors are very interesting. But this is one of the practices to develop my senses again. Because we are in the physical realm and we have 5 senses that are given to us. We hear, we smell, we see, we feel, and we touch. Right? Actually, a person has 56 senses, but we just don't know about them. And when we start to develop these 56 senses, that's when a person truly becomes themselves. We realize that we can be in a 5D dimension, just pay attention not to the main senses we have, but to the additional ones we possess.
How can we describe the 5D dimension? I know it's hard to describe in the words we have right now because the vibration is different, but how would you describe it?
Because people,
Well, we come across all kinds of concepts about this thing. You know what worries me? That we're looking for something somewhere out there and we don't know where. We don't know where that there is, nor where that somewhere is. We're waiting for something to come from the outside again. In this way, we stop ourselves from developing senses, from sharing, from opening up, which are the most direct paths to the heart and accordingly to the universe. Why? We push this thing away. We want it to be somewhere far away. It's not here anymore.
the other dimension is always there. If you ask a little child what they see, they will tell you, I see grandma, I see a friend, I see. Because as we grow older, our vibrational frequency decreases. Here our seventh chakra closes, the diffraction grid closes, it becomes dense. So we can't just fly off into space. But those who manage to open a wider diffraction grid and can work with different senses, they can travel through different dimensions. How do they do it? Imagine that you are in a Supunin bubble, It shimmers and bends with different colors. But you are not the only one in a Supunin bubble. There are many such soap bubbles, and they are everywhere. You are in different vibrational frequencies. In one place, you are vibrating here now. Maybe there is another Stoyan who lives in Chicago, for example, and walks backwards on the ground. These bubbles, they touch each other. And in the case when you can see all of this is to feel multidimensionality and to open up a wider grid here, the diffraction grid, then you suddenly realize that the world is not three-dimensional, but much, much more multidimensional. Not five-dimensional, but thousand-dimensional. Infinitely dimensional. When you say that you are the eye of God and God is in your eye, you are one and the same as God. What is energy? That is plasma purity, a very high purity that very few can touch. And here it gets very interesting. I have my personal thesis. Yes. Who can kiss the feet of God, plasma energo, and not get burned by kissing the feet of God? And who can kiss his hand, and who can frighten him or lay a hand on Ram? Is it possible to reach such plasma purity that you can reach that divine energy? Here, everyone has to answer for themselves whether it's possible or not. But of course, there are hierarchies, which are plasma layers, right, in the structure of the universe, when they give you the chance more and more to more. Those people who are saints, who give a very strong field to the whole planet, Jesus, Christ, and the others, right? I won't list them all of them. They are allowed to be of higher purity and to touch up there.
That's their mission, right? Someone has to show it. Otherwise, how will a person learn?
Well, yes, that's why they wrote the Bible, because, they give examples in different religions, not just ours. There are just all kinds of clues, historical ones that they leave us, and of course they also leave us places of power and everything else that we see. What happens on the planet itself? As knowledge, when you have it, you can feel it. At this place, you develop intuition. At this place, you enter and receive forgiveness from the earth. At this place, it's ancestral karma. All of this is also very important and connected. Yes.
Being yourself is odd. You pursue it your whole life, yet it always slips away. That's exactly why we created our membership, to create a space where more and more people who somehow feel strange and out of place, until this becomes natural, to gather more, to share our knowledge and experience in a common space. On our website, INRA, BG in our membership section inside, with books, with audio meditations, with guided meditations, with webinars, online meetings with all of you every month on different topics. And most of all, with great passion and enthusiasm to continue exploring reality and its endless layers. Join our membership. Let's get back to the aliens. Come on. Whenever this field and this vibration are mentioned, what is the first image that comes to your mind at this point in your life? Which one are you most connected to? Which race? Which device?
I'll start with the first time I physically realized that there are aliens and that we are being told the full information. We were students, second year at the Faculty of Law. Everyone studying law there was subject to military service. Suddenly, all the men disappear. They're all taken away in buses and they just vanish. It turned out that the flying saucer had landed in the middle of a huge field. Just imagine, a vast field, and the flying saucer landed there. All the men who were subject to military service were lined up 1 meter apart, with their backs to the flying saucer. Yes, with their backs in a circle, because they didn't want us to be chemically harmed. And so some of them started approaching it to investigate, to try to meet the aliens. I'm telling you this as it really happened from a physical perspective, what actually took place. You are in Krasnoyarsk Krai, in a big city, Krasnoyarsk. It's not my military secret city, but a big city with 1 million residents, Krasnoyarsk. This city, Krasnoyarsk, which is very heavily polluted, has huge deposits and enormous chemical plants. What could the aliens have been doing? No one can tell you, since that information is fully classified. But the guys from the whole dormitory, students, everyone went out for 3 days, drank alcohol, and then got drunk. Because they had to clean up the radiation first, because they didn't know how much radiation they had been exposed to. And after that, they whispered to each other, oh my, what happened to us? Oh my, what happened to us? In the end, someone with little notes like me managed to find out what had happened to them. This isn't just in America. It happens in Russia, China, PONYA, and worldwide. There, how do they cover things up? And what information do they have? Hey, do you see the kind of progress the Japanese have made and the kind of progress the Chinese have made? If you look at their capital 70 years ago, it was just a village. And now look at what it has become.
I already saw in China how, since there are so many skyscrapers there, how you order something from above that looks like a plane, but it's not a plane, it's more like a ship. And from here, you come here. This thing is already available, you can order it.
Where do they get these technologies from? They come from the connection with extraterrestrials. That's the first thing I remember. And you, right, are asking me to remember the second one.
When you were a student?
The second one, in the hospital. When I was having surgery, I saw how the forces, when did this happen? Again, those years, 1990.
How old were you then?
Well, 24 or 23 or somewhere around 25 years old.
Up.
As far as I remember, I'm in surgery and I see how the aliens are watching in the hospital.
Yes.
They watch and observe, they help, they take, they help the souls to pass on. Some of them take them. These are the little gray beings. They are everywhere. From the grays, you know them. They are the most common because of that. The grays, they are small, they are cute. Yes, my next experience that I have, and a very strong connection. And then...
Then what happened? Wait, you didn't...
I already did. I met them, then they went home, I think.
You were in surgery? It's clear you're operating?
Immediately, yes, of course I was under anesthesia, that anesthetized state, immediately as they collect my blood, as they take away what they need. Actually,
They learn this way?
They learn and help the doctor, by the way, especially those who are conscious doctors. It's like they're guiding their hands. After that, they took me several times and showed me how laboratories are set up, how they heal, how we will heal in the future, how interestingly they cleanse the codes, the DNA. I experienced this at the 7 Rila lakes, at the last one, the 7th lake. When they cleanse your code, it's as if they do this to you. They cut you up like little pieces, click, 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 and then they put you back together, click, 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 in a new purity. They do it like a barcode, like a barcode. Yes, that's what the aliens do when they chip you or when they transmit the necessary information to you that might be useful for the good of the development of civilization. I also saw how they do that.
Do they say anything if it doesn't serve the good?
Yes, your head starts to hurt badly and you could even die if you use the gift you have in
Darkness.
the powers. But the soul cannot serve only the light powers. The soul works in both black and white. When needed, black powers are activated, and when needed, white ones. We are not pure DNA, for example. Let's say we are pure DNA from the higher Atlantean powers, right? From Atlantis. We are already mixed. Just as nations are mixed, we are also mixed with different types of DNA codes. From extraterrestrial energy, you can often see a person, for example, 60% Syrian, 20% from Jupiter. I can recognize this in my coding system when I work. The other extraterrestrials I have encountered in Tsarichina are also a very interesting connection when you go to Tsarichina. Down where they were digging, that's one place. And up there towards the mountain, there's an oak tree. You'll see it. It stands there just like an antenna, a huge one.
What's there?
Huge capsules where you can go, enter a capsule, and get the information you need. You can draw, you can get health information, you can heal yourself. A capsule needs to be experienced. They are called energy. I managed to film it. I have this report in the newspaper published earlier. The capsule is presented. You can imagine it as a huge egg. A person enters it, falls into a state that is like sleeping, and something happens in there. Either you draw or you write poems.
Creative energy is unlocked.
Creative, or you heal health. It depends on why you enter this capsule. So there too, you can use energy that is very powerful. But I met there 7-meter tall beings who come from Atlantis, who are tall, transparent, and heavy. Many of them came just to greet me and to tell me that they know me, they work with me, and that I will be with them. And they started back and said a very nice phrase, our girl, which, by the way, they spoke to me in Bulgarian. Notice it's a very interesting question we always ask ourselves when we communicate. What language do they speak to you in? Him? They can speak with pictures, they can speak in English, they can speak in Bulgarian, in Russian, in any language.
Tell me, what's left of yours, huh? It's overheating. You have breakfast, right?
Oops.
Yeah, sure, this thing will be done like that.
Because this is my money.
Olga stops the camera twice while we're about to start talking, well...
Because I prepared a surprise for you and I physically stop it.
This one thing that affects... What is this thing?
Tell us specifically, you brought it, right? I always tell people, and when I participate in interviews, that Bulgaria is famous for its large uranium, good uranium. And in my secret city, they produce crystals that help with connecting to extraterrestrials. Here, I brought you this crystal and it... Can I touch it? Be careful not to overheat too, because the camera is overheating. You can't really tell that it's something different or something special, it's just an ordinary crystal. I have some special documents here. I've kept them especially. Maybe I knew 20 years ago that I would be connected to you.
The document is 20 years old?
Yes, the document is 20 years old and now it's no longer a secret, right? No? I'm revealing secrets, but I'm showing you a device that when you put it on a table, inside it's loaded with this crystal, which is made from Bulgarian-grown uranium. And it blocks all the devices around. Let's be a little careful here with you, and they block it with the camera. But why?
Why did you bring it to us?
Well, because I wanted to see if it works, and it does work. That's why I brought it. Let me explain. The systems, the secret things we have right now, they're not available for ordinary people to use, but they're accessible to the government. If we had put a bigger crystal in this briefcase, the aliens would have come right now to talk to all of us. Here, something keeps bothering me from the side.
But how would they know that there's no one here?
He must be fine since he keeps bothering you, but haven't the cameras ever overheated for you? No, I made a clever move too. I brought it, put it here and thought the camera would overheat and turn itself off. But I didn't tell you, and it happened because I wanted to check absolutely.
Thank you very much for sharing this. This is navigation of consciousness and reality. You just showed how it works through a crystal, but the main thing is not the crystal, the main thing is your mind, your thought. Tell us how we can do this even if we don't have a crystal, how we can consciously influence reality to make it happier, more aware, more vibrant, more energetic, more light-filled.
Look, I brought the crystal to show what kinds of tools there are right now, what secret information exists. I told you about how hydrogen is changing. The molecule also carries absolutely conscious information about you, that we are changing, everything is changing, nature is changing, everything is changing. He's here again to trick us, that Jew.
What do you feel?
No, it's just that something here feels like sparks from an outlet. We don't want to start a fire, so we'll be careful. We don't want the studio to overheat. Cigar. Now, my idea is to tell you that each of us can be our own crystal because we carry such a crystal here in the pineal gland. It's tiny, it's very small, and look what it does. When it's bigger, much bigger, it creates a big mess in the cosmos. Our tiny ones, which we have in the sixth chakra, in the pineal gland, the epiphysis gland, it's tiny. This crystal, it comes naturally. It's given to us. And if we have such an antenna with which we can receive this information, we need to clean it. How can you do such a simple practice? You take your hand and gather, you catch, for example, a little light here or the sun. You catch the sunlight, you see it, you bring it inside. This light kind of breaks through here and you cleanse yourself. But you need to be in the sunlight. You take it, you put it, you stand like this, arms to the sides, and then you bring it inside and you get a nice, that is a crystal clear purity here. After that, always imagine how a ray enters here, from above. This direction, it cleanses you. These are also meditative practices. Work with the sixth chakra. We can talk with you from the first to the seventh chakra for those people who are just getting acquainted, but we can talk from the first to the 121st chakra because we have huge layers and strata of information that we can give to people to use. Everything is learning, everything is practice, and working on yourself, everything is practice. You can't do it without a spiritual teacher.
At what stage are we right now when we're talking globally about extraterrestrials? Are we ready for this? Let's imagine that tomorrow, somewhere in the world,
why around the world? Let's do it here, hey.
A huge ship appears by the Black Sea and just stays there for 45 days, not moving.
What would you do? What would you do right away? Let's get in the car and go see. That's what I'd do too. I'd immediately take out my phone and take a selfie. The ship arrived. I don't know what we'll do, how many people will be shocked because, wow, what happened to Tsarichina? How many people will say, wow, and react from a schizophrenic point of view? We don't know what will happen. These contacts, they still don't know each other very well. How do I tell the story? When they go, when they come back, what pains they feel, what issues they have? A person's individuality is at work. Yes, the person sees. I see that sometimes if you tell someone what it is, it scares them too. A person feels fear, and when a person feels fear, you vibrate differently, just like that. Here it's about frequency, you get sick, and here the person becomes ill. You don't know where it's from, but maybe it's because the extraterrestrial wants to contact you. It comes to make contact, and you're afraid of it. And here, what I want to say to everyone who has contacts, who are afraid of these contacts, they should turn on their unconditional love, that plasma purity, and say, I love you, and that's it. I'm not afraid. I love you. Tell me what you want from me. If they feel vibrations from here downwards, from the fourth chakra in the chest downwards, that means that the spirit or the extraterrestrial has bad energy with a low frequency, more earthly. More energy, densities that come, if you feel it from here upwards, it means they are purer beings with a higher frequency. And then don't be afraid when those who are lower, further down, come. Just say, thank you, I love you.
Yes. Better.
Write to me tomorrow on Messenger what you want from me, see me, check my website. It's better not to contact us, but if you feel that urge, contact us. Ask what you should do, what they want from you. You should always know who is coming to contact you. And it's better in our current physical body to contact higher beings from lower densities.
In a purely human way, it's more important. In my opinion, it's essential to talk more, simply, just as we've gathered here, to share, to talk, to start closing this distance. Because I feel the same way. We are being collectively prepared. First, here are hybrid cars, electric cars. Right now in Dubai and in those countries, the first taxis and vehicles are starting to levitate and lift off the road. Pedia 2 and so on. And this is in China, those that pass by. At some point, the artificial intelligence built into these machines starts making decisions on its own. Here's Tesla, the car. You press a button and it drives itself. We get used to these things, we get used to them again, as if to be prepared for the moment when it happens, so we don't react and just say at some point, oh yes, a lot, okay?
There was a time. Yes, give an interview. Imagine Kovli for only one SIF or so, and they'll do just one interview. to go from Mukva Malku or from the devil's mind, or Valia takes you. Yes, really, aren't you pressuring? And you don't need to apologize. Why are you apologizing?
I'm not asking him. I'm an alien.
Then we should have guns like they have guns in America.
They try to shoot. How? No, those are the others.
And look, this is very interesting because what do they show in the movies?
Not those kinds of apocalypses.
Yes, but those kinds, everything you see in sci-fi movies or books, at some point it comes true. So in 200, 300 years, what we see today in sci-fi movies will come true. And what? Do you think all the aliens, all nice and friendly, will come and say, hello, friend? Someone will come and cut off your ear. Another will take your wife. A third will eat your field in the countryside. The tomatoes, here or there in Parvome, Dilutenichka will take them all, for example, because we don't know. Yes.
We have a lot of questions from people. That's what we want to do with you. I promised myself, and I have prepared. Actually, I haven't prepared. I just opened it myself too. There were so many comments that I just got lost in it.
So go ahead and choose and ask.
I'm choosing and asking you.
But before you choose,
And they're connected again, yes?
Let's do it before you choose again. Let's say the one who writes the best comments about aliens. Who has met what kind of alien? Who has shared stories about aliens? Please, you'll get a diagnostic code from me again because Stoyan and I will choose the most interesting story about an alien.
All right, I want us to challenge people to share their stories openly and honestly.
Yes, share openly. Don't worry. See how I'm sharing with you openly, right? You don't think I'm crazy, but just so you know, I have a crystal here that I brought.
People have all kinds of fascinating crystals. I've seen many types.
Yes.
Now I won't. Okay, all right. Olga, Lloyd, what is money?
Oh, that's my favorite question. Look, what is money? Money is energy. I'm not talking about Phoenician symbols, bills, or pieces of paper, right? Or anything like that. I'm talking about energy. Money itself is the energy of money everywhere because each one of us thinks about this thing. When we talk about this energy, just like when we smoke, when we drink alcohol, when we have sex, we need to learn how to control this energy. With your money, as a specialist, a magician, you can just reach out your hand and grab 1 million or suddenly grab 100,000 or suddenly grab 1,000. It depends on what you're looking for at the moment and with what energy, at what frequency and vibration you find yourself. This is also a very powerful practice. The best practice I could tell you is one that will help you attract money right away. Have more sex, that's it, that's when the money comes. That energy, the fiery energy, comes when people are in love, when a person in love speaks honestly.
Where can we find living water to drink?
The water from a fountain, the water that flows, that's dead water because it passes through pipes. Logically, so a spring, a stream, the sea, all kinds, that's living water. At Bachkovo Monastery, go there, they have both living water and dead water.
Thank you. You talk about the growth of souls, but how can we know that our soul is growing? What does growth actually mean? Really?
I will answer this question that way. You go to Chustendil, you end up in Portalia, which is an incredible fortress, and you say, I am 24 years old. My first husband, a Bulgarian, takes me there and says, look how beautiful it is. I look at him and say, God, I really want to eat some fish and I really want to go to a restaurant. What are these stones? Where is this man taking me? I'm wearing heels, a short dress with curly hair, someone to Portalia, someone to the stones. I say, what is this madness? And I tell him, come on, enough. And there is a very panoramic, beautiful restaurant there. So I say, here's the restaurant. The man looks at me and says, well, our girl is fine. Take her to the restaurant. But now I go to Pautalia and what do I see? I see some sacred places. I see a place of power. I see some portals going down, going up. I'm flying. I stand there. I can't believe that this is a priestly fire there, where there are places, it's called the eye of the place of power, where there was a priestly fire, where the priests used to chant and perform rituals. If you stand in this environment, in this fire, you receive such a transformation and such power. Well, here you have a soul that knows what it's doing.
That is, the form may be the same, we may be in the same place, but again, still?
Yes, she asks. How does the soul grow? This soul grows first with age, with awareness, which is very important for every soul. In the second incarnation, to realize that there were 43 previous incarnations, because on Earth we can be reincarnated 1,200 times. But 43 incarnations are always important. Specifically in the second incarnation, we are in reincarnation. So in the second incarnation, sometimes it is written, one knows the incarnation for oneself. Zabisi, you need to look again at the development of the soul. That's why every incarnation carries the awareness of practices, which here are a series of steps, as you are born in this one to work on the development of the soul. In the end, you simply shine brightly. You are unconditional, you possess unconditional love, but all souls strive not to possess, never to sound like they are clinging to unconditional love, to master the fire that I withstand.
And the one that ignites others.
This is the path of the soul, of development.
Olga, have you ever filmed a Hyperborean spirit?
No, I haven't. It didn't take me. I was filming capsules. What I filmed was a Hyperborean spirit.
Not well.
I'm answering honestly, absolutely.
Yes, the dragon's role is interesting. And why they heal. Maybe they're taking away our curses further south. At Grandma Yulia's, a white dragon also heals, who has appeared to someone as a snake on the stones where she takes people for healing.
Grandma Yulia is my favorite with the dragon. I have a trained pet dragon. I went there maybe 20 times, I'm tall, 1.8 meters, and I was trembling. The opening you have to go through at Grandma Yulia's in Krebul, only I, Grandma Yulia, can get through it. Once you go in, you get stuck in the doorway, and no matter how you try to push me through, I can't get through. She says the stones close inwards when you pass the dragon. For good people, they close. For bad people, they open the dragon. This is a mystical creature. These are the guardians of the Bulgarian spirit. Guardians of the ancient Bulgarian land and the Balkans, they are everywhere. In all prophecies, national tales, songs, myths, dragons, the soul of the dragon. This dragon is very important everywhere, in different religions and cultures, but for Bulgaria, it is especially important. There are also white dragons, there are black dragons, female mice. You can train them, you can have a little scale from them. The one who already controls the energy of dragons, sometimes the dragon sends some scales, which you can be and hold the dragon's scale. The most interesting dragon lives in the village of Bov. Where is it? The village of Bov is a village located in the direction of Montana. In that direction, there is a village called Bov. He appears as an energetic, beautiful serpent and moves from one cave to another. The local people know him. They chant for him, protect him, feed him, and train him. Very interesting. So anyone who wants to visit the village of Bov can go and see dragons that live in the village of Bov.
Very interesting. What about the Rhodope Mountains? We have a small house there, and several times we've seen Anelo and levitating giants. Otherwise, I completely agree with you about Bulgaria. I'm drawn to Bulgaria's energy spots and visit them with my family because of their strong energy. Thank you for the interview.
Yes, everyone experiences it, and especially the Rhodope Mountains. That is a great mountain. The important thing is to give such advice, Stoyan. Do not get into close contact when you see the extraterrestrials, because you don't know what kind of radiation they emit, what exact plasma purity you might be exposed to. You could go blind, you could get some cancers or diseases. Protect yourselves and still try, when there is such contact, to be protected with crystals, with different amulets, talismans, especially if you are seeking such contact. It's not by chance. In all cultures and histories, there are kings, queens, always dressed in gold, not just because of the stones, the crystals on the crowns, here on the hands. Just look at Tutankhamun, what gold he was sitting in. Not because they are showing off wealth, which yes, from a material point of view, okay, but because they are protecting their field, because when you rule a huge empire, you need to have protection, a huge one. Besides, there are special priestesses and astrologers and psychics who provide this protection for the upper class, the elite of the governments. I'm talking about kings because they have the opportunity to protect themselves, the opportunity for protection from. I'm talking about the current government as well. This is a circle that is protected because not every energy can enter. Otherwise, you won't know which button the red one will press to start a nuclear war that destroys our planet in 8 minutes. Do you understand? Does anyone trust them?
But I don't think so because, there are many cases in America probably in Russia too, at military bases where there are such weapons, where there is alien interference, and they stop it, meaning they've launched this thing.
And they
Stop it. Yes, they stop it. There's interference inside. Suddenly codes shut everything down to make it appear.
Otherwise, the planet will explode. If the planet explodes, the whole planetary system will be destroyed in the galaxy.
Yes, in my opinion, we don't realize the consequences for the whole solar system and everything that we carry. What else do Bulgarians carry that's special, besides these crystals and memories? What is important for all of us to focus on collectively?
I appeal to every Bulgarian, no matter where you live, whether it's around the world or here in Bulgaria, have more Bulgarian children, have more. These shining beings are the children, because children who carry a DNA strand that shines are the future of this planet. They are the smartest beings, the brightest lights. It's not that other children are bad, it's just that Bulgarian children are special with a DNA strand. The DNA strand of Bulgarians has been studied and it's said to be different. We are all together as a planet, as a civilization. We carry DNA codes. These DNA codes are 99% the same among us, but there are percentages that are different. First, they have not been fully studied, and second, this percentage of difference exists in all Bulgarians on Earth. This incredible light that you carry in strands distinguishes you. Your Bulgarian strands are denser, more luminous because of various historical and archaeological factors present on this land where you were born. Especially when generation after generation lives in one place, lives on the land, is born, reincarnates, is born, reincarnates. These are millennia, and this brings very special knowledge to Bulgarians and a special light to the DNA strands.
I would add that we shouldn't be ashamed, we shouldn't be afraid, we should express our strength more and more, who we are, not to worry about the opinions of others, not to let our light go out. Whatever we do, let's do it with joy, let's share it, let's be proud of what we do, because this is our contribution to the earth, to Bulgaria, to the planet, to the universe, and to everyone. Tell me at this moment in your intuition, in your heart. Today, on this special day, in one sentence, what would you say to everyone who is watching?
Today, to my message to your viewers, or now to our viewers together, whom we love from the bottom of our hearts, the following. March is coming, a beautiful spring is coming, which will once again change the vibrational fields. The seed that has been sown will begin to give, to sprout, and so it is in your souls. And let our words, the ones we are speaking together, the light that we want to give to people to help spring be bright and beautiful, with unconditional love and faith that you have soulmates, faith that together all of us can change the world. Slowly, step by step, by changing ourselves, our consciousness, by shining more, we can achieve a lot as good and radiant people. And these, as the teacher says, teachings of the light, which came from Bulgaria, to spread the light across the whole planet.
Olga, Lloyd, I bow to you. Thank you for this participation. Thank you for this reminder to all of us. And I am very, very, very sure. Valuable light and additional wisdom for everyone. Additional knowledge, more and more, face more, that more change, and at the same time, a reminder of who we are.
Thank you, all right? Camera off.